This evening, let's explore the 59th chapter of the Heart Treasure of the Enlightened Ones. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi. This is the Lama you are looking for. This evening, we could chant and meditate and enjoy a lesson or two. But first, if you love Star Wars and you wish to meditate as transformatively as Rey on Ahch-To under the guidance of Luke Skywalker, be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell. There we go. Oh yes, I should tap button 4. If at any point during this evening's live stream you have a question about meditation or philosophy or even chanting, there is no need to be bashful. Simply type your question in great detail in the chat window on the right-hand side of the screen. So, Heart Treasure of the Enlightened Ones, the view, meditation, action, virtuous in the beginning, middle, and end, is the final meditation manual attributed to the great Tibetan saint Dzogchen Rinpoche. It was translated into English by the Padmakara group and adapted as well as amplified by yours truly. Consciousness, the expression of ordinary mind, has 10 functions. And as I've mentioned quite often, there is simply sensation, flavor, scent, sound, sight, emotion, intention, cognition, recollection, and imagination. If you realize ultimate mind to be like Dharmakayas, mastery of awareness and letting go, it is like Gautama. Enlightenment is as easy as mastering awareness and letting go, practicing it spontaneously, habitually, easily, and effectively. It is none other than like the sublime motion of conquerors, knowing that your own mind's empathy, unawareness, and release are like the Buddha recites his 12-syllable mantra. Buddhahood is not something far off and mysterious. It is simply a matter of using the sympathetic nervous system, the anterior cingulate gyrus, and the parasympathetic nervous system we were born with in the most sustainable manner. I'd like to, before we explore tonight's Q&A, let's take a minute for housekeeping. It is my intention to live stream 4 meditation classes daily, health permitting. I do so without any ads. With your assistance, this channel could come to support the next generation of nuns, monks, yogis, lamas, and even brick-and-mortar meditation centers, each replete with a resident teacher and their apprentice. If this speaks to you, and it seems like a good idea, you're welcome to help out even for as little as the cost of 1 cup of coffee a month. Simply use your smartphone's camera to capture this QR code, or go old school and simply click one of the donation links in the description area below the video. Natural Injury 23 asked about straight posture, complaining that their back muscles get tired. They wrote, I read, I have to keep my back straight while meditating so the energy flows better. But my problem is that this is quite challenging for me to hold for over 20 minutes. It's not pain because my back hurts. It's muscle pain because it is like a training session. Okay, so I think what the individual is asking is, or saying, is that it's not a joint pain, it's a muscle thing. And that's completely understandable. And so there's two avenues to explore. Number one, make straight posture as easy as possible. So acquire a zafu from some place like Amazon. You can add or subtract the amount of buckwheat holes in it to make sure it's as comfortable as possible for your joints. When I was living at one of Thich Nhat Hanh's monasteries, an elder practitioner said that the key to sitting straight is posture. If your posture is terrible, then your muscles got to do all the work. If your posture is optimal, then it removes the workload from the muscles. So here's what you to do. Adjust the pitch of your hips. The wrong pitch will make it hard to sit straight. The right pitch will make it easier. So adjust the pitch of your hips until it feels easier to sit up straight. Adjust the pitch of your head to make sure that your scapula are open. If they're all the way open, your profile will look like the letter C. If they're all the way closed, it'll look like the letter S. And neither is great. You want to find the happy medium. So head not too far forward, head not too far back. So adjusting the pitch of your hips and the pitch of your head helps a great deal. The second tool that's really useful is this. During each inhalation, sit as tall as you can. During each exhalation, relax. That doesn't mean slump, because that just creates more work for you. But relax as best you can. So as you breathe in, sit tall, and as you exhale, give your muscles a chance to relax. Now, for the second category of answers to this question, once you've gotten comfortable with making adjustments to your zafu height and your hip pitch, your pelvis pitch, and your head adjustment, then it's just a question of incrementally progressing. So if 20 minutes is challenging, set your smartphone timer for 5 minutes. Sit for 5 minutes once every 12 hours. After a week, you can bump that up to 10 minutes. 10 minutes once every 12 hours. After 7 more days, you can bump that up to 15 minutes. And in less than a month, you could be much more comfortable with 20 minutes of sitting. Now, if you want to incrementally progress to 60 minutes or 90 minutes, use the same method of adding 5 minutes a week, but do it gently. It's better to be impatient it's better to go experience the pain of impatience than the pain of muscle strain. Don't go too fast. Take your time. Slow and steady wins the race. Now, what I'd like to do next is start this evening's practice formally. Before I do, I'd like to take a minute to invite you. If you like the work I'm doing, then type something in the chat window, give this live stream a thumbs up, and share it on social media. Welcome to the latest iteration of Buddha's Easy Tantra. There's a myth that if something's difficult, it must be beneficial. Oh, not so. Meditation is supposed to be a joyful experience, not a workout. Let's start with 7 silent contemplations. These contemplations are super easy because they're just rhetorical questions, which means it works best if we do not try to answer them. As we breathe in, let's silently and mentally recite the first half of the rhetorical question, how hating? And as we exhale, let's silently and mentally recite the second half of the rhetorical question, feel stressful. Now, I once had a student ask, this is pretty self-explanatory. Why am I exploring how hating, craving, vying, which means competing, or clinging or stressful? And the answer is, so often we think stress has to be this grandiose, vulgar thing, when in all actuality, it's as subtle as being uncomfortable in our own skin. And now our final 3 opening contemplations. Having completed our outer preliminaries, we turn our attention now to our inner nondro, where we will train our neural pathways responsible for empathy and enthusiasm by simply chanting the recitations of bodhicitta and refuge 3 times. May I liberate all beings from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging by relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. May I liberate all beings from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging by relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. May I liberate all beings from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging by relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. Now we come to mantra meditation, which is known by many names, including Tokal. Let's take a moment to review the mantra's meaning together by chanting, with whom we invoke the example of the Muni wise one. Maha greatly wise one Muni, yea, of the Shakya Soha, wishing enlightenment for all. So consider for a moment this piece of artwork on the page, depicting a figure known in Sanskrit as Shakyamuni Buddha, known in Tibetan as Shakya Tabwa Dorje Chang. Tabwa Sangye. And in English as Buddha, who is the sage of the Shakya clan. Whether real or imagined, the iconography of this archetype of enlightenment, or yadam, functions to organize the 8 metaphors needed for effective mantra contemplation. So, the second fold of the 8-fold path is love. We're going to begin our mantra contemplations with love. Doing so helps us to leapfrog over our competitive tendencies. As we chant the mantra, get fearless of golden rays are emitting from Atham Nilsa's horizontal 12-syllable mantra rosary at our heart. Lavishing all man's communication, bodies, and circumstances with joyful wisdom, peaceful love, beautiful health, and safe boon. Now, there are 2 keys to transforming mere mantra recitation into profoundly effective mantra contemplation. The first technique is to physically relax as best you can during the recitation of the mantra itself. The second trick is to silently and mentally recite a loving intention during the inhalation. So what we're going to do is play with the loving intention that all minds of all beings now be as wise as a Buddha's mind, symbolized by a 1-syllable mantra known as a bija. The specific seed mantra we're going to play with is Moom. O Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa. O Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa. O Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa. O Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa. We now wish that each being's experience of the interpersonal was as loving as a Buddha's style of communication, symbolized by mantra. O Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa. Om Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa. Om Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa. Om Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa. Let us lovingly wish that all bodies of all beings now be as healthy as the archetypes of enlightenment we see depicted in Buddhist or Tantric art. This is pronounced Yidam. Om Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa. Om Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa. Om Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa. Om Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa. Let us lovingly wish that all circumstances of all beings now be as fortunate as a Buddha's real or imagined paradise or Pure Land or Vanti that we see depicted in Tantric art. Om Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa. Om Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa. Om Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa. Om Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa. Having completed 64 recitations of this 12-syllable mantra, we switch gears now from love to the contemplations of letting go. Which can help us to leapfrog over our clinging tendencies. So this time, instead of working with a loving intention, we're going to play with a wisdom-inducing or wisdom-invoking rhetorical questions, just like the ones we opened with. So we're going to wish, we're going to explore how odd it is that how whenever we inhale, we can notice our circumstances quite vividly. And yet, when we relax into our exhalation, these exact same circumstances can now feel as if they were as non-graspable as a cloudless sky or as a real or imagined paradise comprised only of light. Om Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa. Om Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa. Om Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa. Om Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa. And once again, we can contemplate how easy it is to feel our body when we breathe in. But yet the opposite happens when we relax into our exhalation. These exact same bodies could feel as if they were as non-graspable as a vast empty void. They could feel as if they were as non-graspable as a real or imagined yadam comprised only of light. Om Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa. Om Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa. Om Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa. Om Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa. We can contemplate how odd it is that when we breathe in, our experience of the interpersonal could be rather resounding, and yet, as we relax into our exhalation, this exact same communication could feel as if it was as non-graspable as the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn. Or it could feel as non-graspable as a mantra, comprised only of light. Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa. Om Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa. Om Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa. One of the great irony of these rhetorical questions is not only that we do not answer them verbally, but we seem to answer them viscerally as we relax into the recitation of the mantra. Om Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa. Let us contemplate how odd it is that as we breathe in, mind's functions could appear to us quite clearly. Mind's ability to see, mind's ability to emote, intend, reason, recall, imagine, see, smell, hear, taste, and feel could appear to us rather clearly. And yet, as we relax into the recitation of the mantra, mind's exact functions could begin to feel as if they were as non-graspable as a seed syllable comprised only of light. Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa. Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa Muni Muni Ma Muni Yesuwa. Muni muni ma muni eso wa muni muni ma muni eso wa muni muni ma muni eso wa muni muni ma muni eso ha. Muni muni ma muni eso wa muni muni ma muni eso wa muni muni ma muni eso wa muni muni ma muni eso ha. Having completed 128 repetitions of the mantra, we now transition into silent contemplation. We're going to bring our experience of the circumstantial into the dance of impermanence and interdependence. We're going to use the verb melt as a metaphor of impermanence, the contemplation of which can help us to leapfrog over our over our clinging tendencies. And we're going to use the inference of absorption as a metaphor of interdependence, the contemplation of which helps us to leapfrog over our competitive tendencies. As we breathe in, into form, as we breathe out, all lots melt. And so the basic idea is that of all circumstances, of all beings, real or imagined, blissfully melted into rainbow light, that now absorbed into your body. Now, it's not our job to visualize. If all we do is play with these words, silently and mentally, in harmony with our inhalation and our exhalation and our relaxation, we will make progress on the path. Now let's play with the idea of all bodies, of all beings blissfully melting into a rainbow light that now absorbs into our speech faculty. We now play with the idea of all beings' experience of the interpersonal blissfully melting into rainbow light that now absorbs into our mind. We now play with the idea of all minds, including our own, blissfully melting into rainbow light that now absorbs into a vast, non-graspable void. We now transition from silent contemplation to the first of two silent meditations. We're going to begin by, as we breathe in, we're going to feel the play of sensation. And as we exhale, we're going to relax into sensation's non-graspable nature. Well, how do we do that? Simple. During the in-breath, we silently and mentally recite heart, moom, bliss. And as we exhale, we silently and mentally recite relaxing. If at some point during the next 30 minutes or so, you feel something difficult come up, an emotion or an intention or a thought or a memory or an imagining, you feel this throws you into a hyper energized state, well, then you can harness that energy by playing with these rhetorical questions. This exercise is known by many names, such as Tigle in Tibetan. Now we switch gears from bliss and letting go to love and letting go. During our in-breath, we will passively watch the play of mind. And during the exhalation, we will relax into mind's non-graspable nature. During our inhalation, we will silently and mentally recite, notice this. During our exhalation, we will silently and mentally recite, relaxing. Let's conclude with 4 well wishes, beginning with mastery and liberation. Well, that's weird. Huh. May all beings like the Buddha master the Eightfold Path as well as liberate all others. Ethics of kindness. May all beings practice of kind communication, conduct, and calmness flow spontaneous and uncontrived. Rebirth. May each being take auspicious rebirth, master the Buddha's path, and then help all others do likewise. And let's conclude with, whoopsie, we got a problem over here. Let's hit 9. The 4 immeasurables. May everyone be free from stress, may everyone be happy. May no one be separated from the happiness. May everyone have balance from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging, freed. If you feel I've earned it, type something in the chat window, give this live stream a thumbs up, and share it on social media. In approximately 10.5 hours, I would very much like to return to lead tomorrow's early morning meditation. May you and yours be happy and healthy. And if you are as geeky as me, this is the way.